Hello, it's Rachel and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk you through my top 5 performing funds from last financial year. So this is running all the way through to today's date and basically letting you know how they performed over the last year in my portfolio. So I basically have these funds within a tax efficient ISA. So I have an investment ISA account, which basically means that I can put £20,000 into that every year, and any money that I make in that ISA I am not taxed on. And you can keep putting £20,000 in each financial year. So yes, so all of these funds that I have are held in an investment ISA. I also hold other funds just to try and keep my portfolio nice and diverse. I don't at the moment have any index trackers, so the funds that I have selected have made bigger gains than index trackers have at the moment. I'm not saying that I'm against index trackers, it might be something that I do in the future. So I will basically run you through my top 5 and then let you know how they've performed for me in the last year. So this is the 4th of January today. So the first one of my top 5, which has generated me the most income over the last financial year, is Baillie Gifford American B Accumulation Fund. That's actually generated 119% in the last year, so absolutely incredible gains there. It's an accumulation fund, so any money that I make within that fund is put back into it to then grow further, rather than it being an income generating one when it comes out. All of these funds that I've selected are accumulation funds, so the money goes straight back in. 119% is absolutely amazing. So obviously those returns are huge. I'm just going to give you a little bit more information about Baillie Gifford American BAC account, just so you have a little bit more information basically. So the fund objective is to outperform the S&P 500 index by at least 1.5% per annum over rolling 5-year periods. So obviously at 119%, which is what I've seen, that has definitely met its objective for this year. So they hold 43 holdings within the fund. It was established in 1997, so has quite a long history. Then I'll just run through the top 3 holdings that each one of these funds have, just if that's of interest, and it might give an indication as to why these funds have grown so quickly over the last year. So the top holding is Tesla, so that might indicate why this fund has done so well. Second is Shopify, again had a great year, and the third is Trade Desk. So they've all had really good years, so that is perhaps why this fund has performed so well. So the next fund that I was really pleased to see do really well in the last year, so this is my number 2, is Baillie Gifford Positive Change Fund. So that has seen, let me have a little look at my notes, that has seen a 78% return over the last year. And what really got me interested in this fund, as well as obviously the good returns, was that they aim to have a positive impact on society or on the environment. So the holdings that they have basically are seen as helping with sustainability, helping with the environment, and helping with society in general. So it's a really obviously a positive fund to be holding. So that's Baillie Gifford Positive Change is the next one, and I'll just give you a little bit more information about that. So the objective is to outperform the world index by 2% per annum. The number of holdings they have is 33. They were established in 2017, so quite a new fund. These funds have all got high risk scores. So I look at the KID risk score or the KIID risk score, and they are normally the KID risk score runs from 1 to 7, 7 being the absolute most risky, and most of these funds fall into 6, so they are seen as very risky when you compare them to something like an index tracker fund or something like that. But I am comfortable with that level of risk, particularly because I'm happy with the returns that I'm seeing. I'm relatively young, this isn't investing for my pension, so I don't need this money now. So I'm happy with that higher level of risk. But if you're uncomfortable with that level of risk, then potentially these aren't the funds for you, because they are all higher risk. Anyway, I'll carry on. So they have 33 holdings, and their top 3 holdings are Tesla again, then M3 Inc. Number 3 is Moderna. So Moderna obviously had one of the vaccines for COVID, so they've had a particularly good year as well. So again, that might explain why Baillie Gifford Positive Change has had such a positive year. But yeah, I have been really pleased with this fund. So that was my number 2. So moving on to my third performing fund, this one is not a Baillie Gifford fund, so it is a BlackRock fund and is BlackRock World Technology D2 fund. So this has had a 75% return. Yeah, just checking my notes, this has had a 75% return for me over the last year. So I will give you a little bit more information about that. It's obviously a tech fund. So this fund has 115 holdings, so it's much more varied and diverse than the other 2 funds that I've spoken about previously. Got a lot of holdings. So the first one is BlackRock Institutional Cash Series, ICS, US Dollar Liquidity Agency. The second one is Apple Incorporated, and the third is Microsoft. This is one of 2 technology funds that I do have. But obviously it's been a really positive year for tech. It's been a really difficult year, it's been a volatile year, but tech has done really well over the last year. So yeah, one of my funds is a tech fund, and there will be one more tech fund featured at the number 5 spot. But moving now quickly on to number 4. So my 4th best performing one is another Baillie Gifford fund. I think I'm a bit of a Baillie Gifford fangirl. Is that a thing? I can say that. I'm gonna go with it. So the 4th fund that has performed the best for me this year is Baillie Gifford China. So I will give you a little bit of a rundown of that. It has generated me 52% increase in my income. So again, another fantastic year. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So it has got 60 holdings. So the fund's aim is to outperform the MSCI All China Index by at least 2% per annum over a rolling 5-year period. So the top 3 holdings that they have is Alibaba Group Holdings, Tencent Holdings, and then the final one I'm going to actually spell out for you just because I might pronounce it wrong. So it's MEITUAN. It was established in 2008, so quite well established. Yeah, and for me, I've seen a 52% return on my income in the last year. And then the last top performing fund for me over the last year is, as I mentioned, another tech fund. So it's Polar Capital Global Technology, and this has returned a 51% return on my investment in the last year. So again, absolutely brilliant. Like, I can't believe the returns that these funds have given me over the last year. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm beyond pleased with it. So let me just tell you about Polar Capital. So for Polar Capital Global Tech, as I explained, they're a technology company. So their top 3 holdings are Apple, Facebook and Alphabet. So Alphabet is obviously Google. So if you were to add all of these increases up and then average them out, we would be looking at a 75% return on investment in a year. With the average of how these have performed. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. It's obviously been a really volatile, really difficult year, so I don't expect that to be repeated next year. I don't expect these funds to perform as well next year, but I'm just really grateful that they have performed this well for me this year. I will be holding on to the majority of these funds actually. I am also looking to diversify a little bit because I can see that with these being my top funds, a couple of them are technology funds, and tech has obviously had an amazing year, but will it continue to next year, or will we see other industries bouncing back once the vaccines are in for COVID? It's difficult to know. I can also see that within the top 10 holdings for a couple of these funds, Tesla features very heavily there. And obviously Tesla's had an amazing year, but can that continue as well? I don't know, who knows really. We can't predict the stock market. So I think, as well as holding on to some of these, perhaps increasing some of the money that I have in these funds, I will be looking at further diversification. As I said already, I do hold other funds as well. If you'd be interested in hearing which other funds I hold as well, then I can tell you about my complete portfolio and all of the funds that I have. But I thought it was really important to basically share my top performing ones, because really everyone probably is most interested in the ones that are doing the best and the ones that could potentially generate the most income for you. So I obviously wanted to mention that I am not a financial advisor. I am not offering any advice. I'm just literally talking about my personal experience over the last year and how I've seen my income grow and where I've seen it grow the most. But if you're looking to invest, then definitely do your own research, have a look at the different funds that you might be interested in. I specifically have really enjoyed investing in funds rather than stocks and shares as a beginner. I do have two small stocks and shares accounts. So I have one with Free Trade and one with 212 Trading. Trading 212, not 212 Trading. So I do have those two, but I hold most of my investments in investment ISAs, and I spread them mostly across funds because I just feel more confident when there is a fund manager who's had a lot of experience, a lot of education, managing the money, the largest proportion of my money, rather than me, who, yes, is very interested in it, but at the same time I am just learning. So I would rather have funds managed by people, and I'm happy to pay a percentage for them to manage them if I'm seeing these kind of gains. I mean, having a fund that's returned almost 120% in a year is phenomenal, and I would have probably found that very difficult to do that in the stock market by myself. So yeah, that's incredible. Really, really pleased with the performance. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say on that. So if you do have any questions about these specific funds or my investment strategy, then please do pop them in the comments down below. I really enjoy answering all your questions, hearing about your investments, hearing about how the last year has been for you. It's really interesting to me, and I wish you all the very best in your investing journey in 2021. I hope it's an awesome year for you. I hope you're all well and healthy and happy. If you want to see any more updates on the funds I have, or as I mentioned, if you want to see the whole of my portfolio, then please do let me know in the comments down below, and please do like and subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. This is a really new channel. Don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to share the knowledge that I do have on finance and investing, and the experience that I've gained over the last couple of years. So thank you so very much for watching, and have a lovely, lovely day, evening, morning, whatever you're up to. Take care. Bye bye.